Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the 19th episode of the Better Leader podcast. Hope y'all are having a great summer. I know I've been enjoying myself, and I want to talk to you today about three different principles: empathy, grit, and growth. Empathy, grit, and growth. And so I've been thinking about these things. They're not necessarily new concepts, and honestly, for you, it's probably not going to be new concepts, but just because we already know something or have an understanding of it, that doesn't mean that we're applying it in our leadership. And so these are things that I've really been learning about lately and trying to actually apply as well. And so the first one, looking at empathy. Now, I have a son, Cash, who is 4 years old. And this is the story that made me think about this more, is this summer, Cash went to baseball camp. Now, he went to baseball camp last year, loved it. He's been talking about it for 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the camp this summer and was really excited about it. And so we were pumped for him, and finally the day came. It was baseball camp day one, and I woke him up. I'm like, Cash, man, you have baseball camp this morning. Aren't you excited? And my man was grumpy, cranky, throwing fits, crying, and just having a rough morning. And so for me, this kind of shows you what kind of dad I am sometimes. I was upset with him, and I'm like, you're being selfish. Not every other kid has this opportunity, and so I'm getting irritated with him. And meanwhile, my wife, who is so often the voice of reason, Emma, comes in, and she knows Cash. So she starts talking to him and just having a conversation with him. And she's like, what's wrong, man? Why are you having a hard morning? And Cash starts to tell her that he is nervous. And I should know this about Cash, right? Is that he gets nervous when he's going to go do something new or something that he's not familiar with. He can kind of want to take a step back sometimes. And that's not naturally my personality as much. And so for me, I don't even think through those things quite as often, because I'm like, man, you're going to have fun. It's going to be fine. And so I'm thankful that Emma took the time to really dig under the surface. And now sometimes I do know with my kids is that there's not some like underlying cause. I don't need to overanalyze it. Sometimes they're just being bad. But in this instance, in this situation, Cash wasn't just being selfish or something like that. He was nervous about what was going on. And it reminded me that we need to show empathy as we lead, that grace and empathy are important as leaders. We got to ask good questions, because there's often more going on underneath the surface than we realize. I can't tell you how many times I've had, as a leader, someone comes to me with a problem, and maybe it's something they're going through personally, or maybe they're upset with something that's happening in an area that I'm leading, and oftentimes there's something under the surface which is actually coming out, and you got to dive down, and you got to get to that, and you got to ask good questions, and people often have more than we realize going on. And this is often true when there's frustrating behaviors. We know this as leaders. You can't lead without people. And when you're working with people, there's going to be frustration. And it's easy to just be like, well, at the surface level, I don't like the way that person is acting. But honestly, you got to dive down deeper most of the time and see what's actually going on. And so I'm not saying this is an excuse that you just accept any type of behavior. I do think that it's definitely appropriate that people should carry themselves in a manner of respect and kindness. But it is important that as we interact with the people we lead, we have to remember they're humans too. They have feelings. We got to get to the under the surface and understand what is going on. And this can be against our natural tendencies sometimes for me. Sometimes I'm so focused on the mission, or maybe it's like, well, my feelings aren't hurt, so we're good. Let's just keep moving forward. Well, it's important that we take a step back, slow down, and ask good questions. This is not something that always comes natural to me, but having kids, being married, has helped me to be more empathetic. As I've had more conversations with people and I realize that everyone has things going on, it's caused me to be more gracious over the years. And I hope to continue to grow with that, because I do believe that the two things we can do at the same time. We can be both empathetic and we can have drive and grit and toughness. And that's actually the second thing I want to talk about. And what's reminded me about that this summer is we have 3 different interns who have been working with us in one of the areas I lead here at High Street. And this summer, I've just watched these guys. They show up on time. They communicate well. But what I've noticed is they've got work ethic. They've got some grit to them. They've got toughness. And they do this. I call this the stack the chairs principle. If I'm looking to hire someone good, I want to see who's stacking the chairs after an event when they don't have to be. I'm telling you, if you're not not, if you're a leader and you're looking to hire good people, go to a church event and see who sticks around afterwards to clean up. These are the people with grit and toughness. But I've watched these guys. No one made them stay till the end. We never had a conversation with these three guys of like, hey, you need to make sure you stay till everything is cleaned up. They did it because they've got strong work ethic. And when you look at these guys, they've got kindness, hospitality, and work ethic. And when you bring those two things together, that's an opportunity for some powerful leadership to happen. And I don't mean that lightly. I really do mean that you can lead in a powerful way when you have both kindness and empathy and grit and toughness and this work ethic. And that's something that for me, man, I'm so thankful for the opportunities I had in athletics growing up, because it teaches you to be an initiative taker. It teaches you and gives you opportunities to be a self-starter, but it taught me how to work hard. And I just need that reminder sometimes, because as I've gotten older, as I've been leading in the same position longer, you get tired of doing some of the repetitive things. You know, I might get tired of setting up for an event. I might be like, well, we don't really have to do that with excellence. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I need to see people with fresh eyes and fresh mindsets, fresh energy and fresh work ethic to remind me of like, man, I got to dig deep and have some toughness and grit and work ethic in what I'm doing. And I think we have to, I think we got to teach this sometimes now. I'm glad that these three guys, that they came in and they naturally had that. But in our culture now, I do believe we value kind of work-life balance more, which isn't a bad thing. Probably before, people were so committed to the grind that it impacted their families. They didn't have good boundaries, didn't rest well, didn't take care of themselves. I'm worried that we might swing too far the other way on the spectrum. And we might value rest so much that we forget that we should rest well because we've worked really, really hard. And so I just think it's something we're going to have to continue. If you're a leader out there and you're working with a younger generation, or maybe you're in that younger generation, is rest is important, but also you should be resting well because you've worked really, really hard. That work ethic is still something we got to engage in and that we got to develop. And it reminded me of this is as I watched these guys lead with humility and they stacked the chairs, they did what no one asked them to do, is that, man, I need to be a leader who leads with a strong work ethic. People need to see me doing and serving in a way. I don't want to ask somebody else to do something that I'm not willing to do. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to be the one doing it, but I do want to lead in a way that shows service, that shows humility. And so my challenge to you as a leader is, don't be afraid to stack the chair. What's the thing that you've lost passion on because you've been doing it for a while that is a lot of work, and honestly you don't love doing it? Man, just have a renewed vigor and spirit for attacking that thing and having the opportunity to work hard. When we combine grit with empathy, I believe special things are going to happen. And the third thing I've been reminded of this summer is just the pursuit of personal growth and the pursuit of learning new skills. This summer, my wife and I, our family, we have been renovating the back room in our house. And it's not that we wanted to do this necessarily, but we kind of had to. We had a leak in a chimney and it was starting to cause some damage in our house, and we just had to take care of it. It wasn't the project we necessarily wanted to do, but it was something that we needed to do. And I've actually been really thankful and really enjoying parts of getting to do this because people have asked me along this journey, and I like to talk about it, and I've been telling a lot of people about it. We like to talk about what we like, right? And so as I've talked about this renovation, it's been exciting for me because it has reminded me of how fun it is to learn new skills. And it can be challenging and frustrating at times as well, as you know. But there's a joy that we get in developing new skills and stretching ourselves. So people have asked me this question: hey, do you know how to do that? And my answer has been no. Most of the things that I've done in this project, whether it's reframing a wall or hanging larger piece of sheetrock or tearing out floors and putting in new ones and replacing subfloor, like I didn't know how to do these things. But because I've asked a lot of questions to people around me, I've done a lot of research, I've leaned into friends and family who know what they're doing, I've been able to learn more about this. And it's been a lot of fun to learn and develop these skills. And I kind of laugh at it now because 10 years ago when I first got married, or When I first owned a home, I didn't know how to do any of these things. But over time, I've developed skill that even allowed me to have the confidence to take on a project like this. And now, after doing a project like this once, I've learned, man, here's some things I definitely wouldn't do the same again. But I've also learned, like, man, okay, I actually could do this. This wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. And if I never engaged in this action, I wouldn't have ever learned these new skills. And so my challenge to you is, get out of your comfort zone. How do you need to get out of your comfort zone? Are you scared to talk in front of other people? Well, go talk in front of other people. Are you scared you're going to mess up learning some new skill and technology or whatever else? Man, dive into it and stretch yourself and challenge yourself to learn. And what I've noticed is that as I've done this, as I've learned new skill, it's actually increased my confidence in things I do all the time. As I've done these things at home, it's increased my confidence and my initiative in just the daily leadership that I have at church or with the people that are around me. And so it's interesting that as we grow and develop in new skills, it actually helps us and improves our confidence in skills that we already practice on a regular basis. The second thing it's done for me is it's taught me patience. Things have gone wrong in this renovation. Things have been frustrating. There's certain parts of it I'm like, man, I don't enjoy that or I don't like that. But it's taught me how to be patient. It's reminded me the importance of being patient. And as we learn new skills, it helps us to practice this important skill of being patient as we are leading people. And so those are just some benefits of it. And I talk to people all the time. I mentioned this before. I think there's people out there that are on two ends of the spectrum. There's people that are, man, I can do anything and I'll try anything, and maybe they're overconfident and they get themselves in trouble. But I think more often people are like, man, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not even going to start. I think there's a balance in there, right? Try something new. Don't be so overconfident that you don't ask good questions and seek wisdom and advice and help. But also, too, don't be the person that's like, man, I don't know how to do this, so I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to try. What you're robbing yourself of is you might find something that you're actually highly skilled at. You might find something that you actually really enjoy. You might find something that you can actually make a difference in, but you won't know unless you try. And so those are things I've been reminded of this summer is empathy, grit, and growth. So my challenge for you is this, is as you're leading, be cognizant. Look for an opportunity to ask someone a question. Hey, how are you actually doing? Try and get to the bottom of what's going on. The second thing is this, is work hard. Do a task that you don't want to do. Stack the chairs. And the third thing is this, is try to learn something new. And I think that as you apply these principles in your leadership, you're going to see it's going to grow your effectiveness and you're going to have some fun as you're leading. Thanks for joining us today on the Better Leader Podcast. We'll catch you next time.